What's the reaction been from you guys, the players, the coaches, to losing Sid and Ari?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, just brokenhearted for them. They're two really good people.
Paige backers putting their hands on Sophie to shove her up. You see Sophie's hand in the air. Both hands are in the air right here. And Paige backers is shoving. She is shoving her clean off. Boom. Pushed her right into Howard.
Aliyah Boston left the court fuming. Kelsey Mitchell had dropped 24 while playing out of position. The Fever erased a 17-point hole without Caitlin Clark, plus Sydney Colson and Ari McDonald, and still had the game in their grasp. Then it unraveled. One bad shot, no timeout, and some late whistles the coach later blasted. We'll share Aliyah's raw post-game words. Short, blunt, and straight to why this one hurts. But first, here's how it all fell apart. Comment your take on this brutal loss. Let's go.
It's never fun to lose. I thought we got a pretty good look out of it. But again, I think, we shouldn't have been in that position to begin with. The 17 turnovers got us there. We shouldn't have even been there. But I thought, Kelsey got a look at it. It's unfortunate, but yeah, on to the next.
How do you run an offense when your entire point guard depth chart vanishes overnight? For Indiana, it wasn't a question, it was reality. Just days before facing Dallas, disaster struck in Phoenix. In the span of one game, Sydney Colson tore her left ACL and A.R. McDonald broke a bone in her right foot. Both done for the season. Combined with Caitlin Clark already sidelined since July with a groin injury, the Fever were suddenly without their top 3-point guards for the first time all year. No true ball handlers. No one to break full-court pressure. No one to run the sets the roster was built around.
That you hate to see this happen to. They've been an integral part of what we've been doing, and so hate it for them. Unfortunately, it's part of the deal, and we've got to roll with it. And we've got players in that locker room who believe in one another. Players in that locker room who are as competitive as all get out. We've got versatility, and it's going to have to be on full display. So I think now it's about playing to honor them, right, and playing for them.
The impact was instant. Without a true floor general to control the tempo, breaking defensive pressure became a grind, turnovers mounted, and routine entry passes turned into chaotic battles. Against Dallas, the cracks were impossible to miss. 17 turnovers, fueling 27 Wings points. That's more than a quarter of Dallas's offense handed to them before Indiana could even set up in the half court. Every trip down took extra energy, every pass felt like a gamble, and an already razor-thin margin for error vanished completely.
It's exciting. I know that Indiana is a great organization, and just to be a part of it and just to be here with the great players that I'm going to be playing with, this is a great opportunity. I'm just happy to be here.
What's the most important thing for you in a situation like this to just get acclimated, just to kind of get your feet under you and feel your way around the new spot here?
It's not my first time just coming to a new team and coming in and just being me. The biggest thing is just doing what I do best. Playing defense, playing hard, doing whatever the team needs. Obviously, I know they've been down with the injuries. Prayers up for Sid and Ari. Love them both. But like I said, I'm excited to be here, and I'm not going to do too much. But whatever coach tells me to do is what I'm going to do and have fun and enjoy my teammates.
Just to put a functional rotation on the floor, the front office had to act fast, bringing in veteran Odyssey Sims on a hardship contract. She had barely a day to glance at the playbook or develop any chemistry before being thrown into her debut against Dallas. In 13 minutes, she went scoreless with 2 assists and 1 turnover, spending most of her time figuring out where teammates wanted the ball instead of playing on instinct.
She obviously can play make, as she showed in the last game, but it's not like her most natural way of playing, I would say. Do you have to tell her to focus on that? Does she just kind of know that as the primary ball handler in these games, she'll do it? How does that kind of process work when it's not a true point guard at the one?
Yeah, I want her to just do what she's been doing. She's been excellent all year long. She's been efficient all year long. Her decision-making has been on point all year long.
That left Indiana with only one real solution. Move Kelsey Mitchell out of her natural scorer's role and into the lead guard spot. There was no easing her in. Every inbound, every set, every ounce of defensive pressure fell directly on her shoulders. It wasn't just a tactical shift, it reshaped the physical demands of her game. She now had to initiate possessions under relentless pressure while still being expected to carry the scoring load.
So I wanted us to outlet and attack in transition. When it got to the point where we didn't attack and we just started dribbling sideways, I probably should have used it at the 3-second mark instead of a little bit later. I thought Kels might have had a baseline drive, that she ended up coming back to the middle, and so I didn't like that. But I did want us to push in transition with a low clock and limited
Pushed her into Howard. Now she's wide open and waiting for a pass like she just didn't do anything. Like she just didn't do anything. Wide open down here. Look at her. And then all of a sudden you get the whistle. And look at the ref. You see the ref? You see the ref right here. Calling the foul. And guess who the foul was on? Sophie Cunningham.
The Dallas game was a perfect snapshot of how those injuries reshaped everything. With a makeshift backcourt, every basket felt like a grind, and every turnover cracked the door for a Wings run. Still, even shorthanded, Indiana stayed in it until the end, because the one player carrying the heaviest load refused to let go. That weight fell on Kelsey Mitchell, the most dangerous pure scorer, suddenly tasked with running the offense from start to finish. Normally, she's catching the ball in scoring spots, not bringing it up through traps or calling half-court sets. But with Coulson, McDonald, and Clark all out, she was the only real option to initiate, and Dallas knew it. They sent extra defenders in the backcourt, trapping and doubling to drain her energy before she even crossed half-court. Yet she kept attacking. A corner three. A drive to the lane. Finding open teammates like Aisha Hines-Allen and Sophie Cunningham to chip away at the deficit. On paper, her line was impressive. 24 points on 7 of 15 shooting, 4 of 7 from deep, plus 6 rebounds. In reality, it came with nearly every possession starting in her hands against defensive schemes built to wear her down. Every made shot was followed by another war just to get the ball up the floor, then still find the energy to score again. She started right, but everyone knows she loves going left. 3 defenders collapsed, yet she still scooped it in. That brought her to 24 points. There were flashes of fatigue, a few turnovers, some forced passes when lanes slammed shut, but Mitchell kept finding ways to keep the fever alive, and the fourth, down double digits, she drilled a deep 3 from well beyond the arc, then immediately motioned for her teammates to lock in defensively. Moments later, she ran a crisp pick and roll with Boston, threading the pass for an easy bucket. Those were leadership plays, not just scoring bursts. With 5 seconds left on the shot clock, she attacked the lane and finished through traffic, cutting it to 1. Indiana had the ball with 1.7 seconds left, but her corner jumper wouldn't fall. Dallas escaped 81-80 in a thriller. This wasn't her ideal role, and it's not a sustainable blueprint. Asking one player to handle nearly all the scoring and playmaking makes them a bullseye for a locked-in defense. We saw it here. Every action started and ended with Mitchell. When Dallas slowed her, Indiana's offense stalled. And yet, she still had them within one shot of winning. Under relentless pressure, Mitchell maxed out her capacity. The engine, the closer, the vocal leader who kept her teammates engaged despite foul trouble and frustration with officiating. Opponents will see her stat line. The Fever will remember the hours of grinding work she poured in to hold the team together in a role she never chose. That's why fans are split, frustrated by the missed chance, but in awe of what she gave. We reached a point where instead of attacking, we started drifting sideways with the dribble. I probably should have used the timeout around the 3-second mark instead of waiting a bit longer. I thought Kelsey might have had a baseline lane, but she came back to the middle, and I didn't love that. Still, I wanted us to push in transition with the clock low and limited options. And while Mitchell carried the heaviest load, she wasn't fighting alone. Others stepped into bigger roles, hitting clutch shots, crashing the glass, and making defensive plays that kept Indiana alive. Games like this reveal whose impact reaches beyond the box score, and against Dallas, it was the role players who refused to let the deficit become a death sentence. Sophie Cunningham was relentless, 14 points on 5 of 10 shooting, including 2 momentum-swinging threes. Every bucket came with her trademark edge, diving for loose balls, jawing after contact, and playing with the fire her coach praised afterward. She later apologized publicly for a heated exchange with officials, but stood by her point. That competitive energy fueled the rally. Chloe Bibby's minutes were short, but her impact was huge. 11 points in just 12 minutes, hitting all 3 attempts from deep. One was a dagger during a Dallas run that threatened to put the game away, forcing the Wings to burn a timeout. It was a timeout Dallas didn't want to burn, but Bibby's shot forced their hand, buying Indiana precious rest right as they were mounting their run. Gets it back, for to shoot. Cunningham to the corner. Bibby. Chloe Bibby breathing life into Indiana. Dallas answers with a 19-0 run. Not this time. Bibby buries the three, just as she did in the first half. Natasha Howard anchored the paint. She posted a 12-point, 12-rebound double-double with 3 blocks, erasing would-be layups and shutting down Dallas possessions before they could get second-chance looks. Her presence forced the Wings to work harder for everything inside and gave Indiana the defensive backbone they needed to claw back. Aliyah Boston absorbed heavy contact on nearly every touch, yet still finished with 14 points and provided critical inside scoring when jumpers went cold. Her willingness to battle in the post kept Dallas from pulling away early in the second half and gave the fever balance when perimeter shots weren't falling. Cunningham, off to Boston. Boston turns the corner, spins inside.